All right. Good morning, everybody. Got to get that part done. Good morning. You know me, put your cameras on. If you want to get more from what we're going to talk about today, and I promise you're going to want to, please put your cameras on. Show the commitment to making sure that everything we're talking about gets inside of you. Because today, what we're going to do, and for all of you that aren't aware of it, we're going to talk about what's involved in success. What are the steps to get you prepared, to get you going, to get you into momentum? And there's a very good chance, quite a few of you, if you're an emerging agent, and to be fair, some of you that aren't emerging agents don't have this already under your belt. You haven't already gone through this process. Here's a spoiler alert. Again, one more time, I'm going to say it. Well, I'll probably say it a couple more times. Put your cameras on. Show up, be present, and be accountable to absorbing what we're going to cover. Got it? I'm looking for faces and I'm taking notes. So who's with me? I want y'all to be in a position to go forth and conquer. What I want you to do, and this is the spoiler alert, is I want you to be fully prepared to generate new business on demand and to capture that business because you have skills. Now, just internally, check with yourself. Do I have the skills to go on a listing presentation, to work with a buyer, to open a door, to show a property, to value a property? Have I gone through this enough where you could say, here, George, here's the value of the property, or here, George, I'm going to send you a contract and it's excellent. It's not a mistake. It's not going to cost your clients money. Or have you intentions of practicing on somebody who's actually going to pay you? Now, this is a big question we got to figure out. Do we want to get ready to get started? Do we want to do the hard work now when it doesn't actually cost us money, or are you waiting and have you not done it? I'm going to lay out blueprint for you, what you must do. Now, you get to make the choice, and there's two options here. You can either do it on somebody who's going to pay you and they're not going to pay you because you're not going to be competent enough to do it. Or you can say, I'm going to be disciplined enough to run my business and understand that I need to have certain skills and I need to have certain knowledges, and I'm willing to commit the effort and time. It's 50 hours a week into learning these skills and sets. Claire, be ready. You know I'm calling on you. This is right up your wheelhouse. You are my go-to. She's trained so many agents, and she's also got the Philly thing flying. So let's go Eagles. We'll soar away. Right? We're going to talk hard today. And here's the cool part. Every one of you, if you don't, just reach out to me personally. Just send me a message, instant message me. Every one of you have these tools. Every one of you has these tools. And these tools are ready for you right now to go. You probably don't know the depth of which they're there. I would love input when we're done. If something's missing, if something is missing here that you think we need to have, I want you to put it in the chat, or better yet, just message me directly and say, George, we need this in there. I wrote down a bunch of stuff that I'm going to cover. Very first thing is getting started. In the first week that you're in real estate is the only time you have permission to get ready to get started. After that, you're going to actually have to take meaningful action. Now, there's a caveat to this. You may decide, I don't really want to make any money for 6 months to a year, so I'm going to take my time and I'm just going to move slowly. And every one of you on the call, myself included, take a mental inventory of where you're at. Am I proficient? Do I have what I need? Am I ready to go? Can I handle this circumstance? Because we're going to talk about a lot of environments or a lot of circumstances that will come up. And I want to ask you to think about it internally, saying, am I prepared for this? I'm going to give you stories through the way as well. That first week you're in real estate is the first and only time you get to say, I'm going to get ready to get started. And after that, you're going to have to take actions. And if you're not, there's our immediate problem. Okay. I'm going to go back and forth on a regular basis. I'm going to review back and refer back to it. I'm going to show it. I'll pull it up on the screen into the GPS Jumpstart checklist. And the reason I'm doing that is it's 5+ years of practice, or of the right things to do in the right orders. And there's things on there that you don't know because, and it's no harm, no foul, because you didn't really look into it. You said, I know it's a little overwhelming. I don't want to do it. So I'm going to refresh that for you. Now, that's not a lot of our focus. A lot of our focus is on what you're actually going to be doing in the stuff that's in there that's going to help you. So get ready. I'm going to say it once more. Please show me the respect, and more importantly, show it to yourself. Put your cameras on, be present, Look at what's going on in here. Don't answer your phone, and let's talk about getting you guys into the right momentum and the right action, because that's the reason for today. All right, I'm going to share my screen, and I promise you this is going to be challenging to see for some of you, so don't worry about it. This document is available for everybody. What we're covering right now is getting started. Now, as a lot of you can see this, or a lot of you are already aware, this is the Jumpstart checklist for anybody that has joined the GPS Global Partners, and it is your tool. The very first thing you're going to do is start at the very first one and go through it and put a check mark by it. You'll notice there's links that will help you to everyone. This first one, by the way, actually, it's not the first. There's some stuff we do beforehand. But line 10, which you probably can't read, it says review the EXP step-by-step guide. Now, this checklist takes you through everything that's great in reference point, and there's a link to it. You should do this. You really should. Now, on line 14 and 15, there's two numbers you must have. One is a EXP onboarding MLS association mentor. Any question you possibly have, there's a phone number and a live personal answer it. And they answer it inside of 1 minute. And the second number you absolutely must have, it should be in your phone. It's in mine. I send this to people all the time. You don't need to ask me where it is. There it is. And that's your processing and transaction number. That means if you have an issue with transactions, any issue that comes up, you can call them. If you have an issue with I'm onboarding, I'm not doing, Shasha, I'm talking to you, save this number. If you're brand new and you're like, what am I doing? How do I get the answers? That's your answer solution. It's immediate. Now, there's a lot more. You can go into campus and get what you need. But remember, if you're an emerging agent, you're going to have questions. Are you keeping them to yourself? Are you saying, well, it's not a big deal? It is a big deal. And there's people here to answer them for you. Awesome. All right. So moving forward, by the way, shameless plug. Lyra did a podcast yesterday. She's been doing a lot of them. They're really good, Lyra. I'm just throwing it out there. Drop it in the chat. Give me the link. Put it in there, not to yesterday's, but to the podcast as a whole. If y'all want a chance, this is all about real estate. I happen to be on yesterday's. Don't listen to that one. It's a really long one. It's about database. But they're good and they're on point and they're real estate related. Shameless plug for Lyra. She's one of our partners in crime, and it was so good. I just wanted to share it. It's a great place for people to go. Lyra, I'm going to ask you to drop it in there for me if you would.
Thanks, George. Right. I will.
Thank you, ma'am, very much. Appreciate it. Let's go back to this. Now, in the very first week, what you're doing, and again, I know this is a little hard to see. Let's see if I can make it a little bigger. There we go. That worked. The first 2 days, you're going to go and you're going to learn the first critical things you must know to function well and have all your tools. Now, here's the part that's important. I absolutely know that you'll forget every bit of this, and it's not relevant to you. It is. It's relevant that you know where it is and what it is, and it's relevant you look at it. And here's the cool part. The ones that are normally offered are about an hour long for each particular topic. I shortened them up for you. They're just me talking. We really go to point. It's just specifics. It's just success. It's no fluff or anything. Please watch them. And here's what'll happen. You'll watch it. You'll be like, oh my God, 2 weeks down the road when you're working with a buyer, a month on the road, you're working with the buyer, you're like, oh, I know I saw this somewhere, and you know where it is. Your reticular activator will kick back in. So it's a reference point to you. I get it. You're not going to absorb it all, but it's there when you come back to it. And it's important you do the work. Now, this is the part that's important that I want you guys to get as well. The additional things, all the things that say week one. Some of these are as simple as joining the EXP's referral network, finding out about your health insurance, a link to our private Facebook group, information on KV Core and how to set it up. This is all available for you, and you have to start at the top and work your way down. Now, I expect that you get all that done in the first week because that's the week you're getting set up to get ready. And if you haven't gotten all that, if you don't know where to go, if you haven't signed up for Regus, if you want to or not, I don't care if you want to or not, just sign up for it. It'll take you a minute and a half. If you don't know, if you're not members of all of our referral networks, why not? If you haven't set up your personal page, why not? It's right here. It's how to do it. This is getting ready to get started. Now, there's some things that are missing. We know about that. You set up your profiles on Facebook, on Zillow, on Realtor.com. We're adding that. We're getting to it. Those are additional add-ons. But you got to get ready. And the number one most important thing that you must do in that first week, and this is for anybody who is new to real estate, and some of this is going to apply to people that are not new to real estate, is you absolutely must get into the MLS and have access to it with a super key. And if somebody tells you, well, you got to wait, tell them, no, I don't. I need it now. I'm going to say that again. Do not wait for somebody to answer. Find the answer. If that's not your personality, I want you to pretend you're me and just say, fuck it. I want my stuff. Don't let them tell you no. You must have it or somebody else is going to slow you down. And that's not fair to you. This is a good point to give you a time frame. I'm going to give you a time reference point. Y'all can see what I'm doing. Hopefully I'm the one that's on your, so you're going to catch this. You get your real estate license. Awesome. You figure out what brokerage you're going to work at. Awesome. Takes about a week or so to get ready. That's terrific. This is the normal, folks. This is the normal. You choose that brokerage. Takes about a week to choose that brokerage. You join that brokerage. Takes about a week to get ready. Pretty cool. Just what we're doing right now. Then you're going to join their classes. It's a class that gets you started, and it's Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 9 to noon. Life gets in the way. It goes for 6 months, but it doesn't start for another week. Excuse me, it goes for 6 weeks. Doesn't start for another week. And then it starts, and all of a sudden it ends. And there's a couple classes that got missed because life gets in the way. And we're literally 3 months out, and you're still not prepared. There's a very good chance that we've got another couple of months before you really get into momentum or before you have an opportunity for a closing, which is you get paid. Show of hands. Who here is comfortable with 9 months or 5 months of no income? Anybody raise your hand. Who's got the money to do that? Because I need you to come work with me and take care of me. I didn't think so. You got a month, period. You're going to lose your own momentum if you don't do it. It is mission critical. And if you're at that point where you're saying, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm not sure. I don't know if this is for me. I'm going to challenge you to reapply yourself and follow the simple steps that we're going to cover today, that we are covering right now, and ask yourself if by doing that, and give yourself 1 month to get into momentum, because there's a couple things probably not happening, and I'll cover those. It's, do I know what I'm doing, and am I actually doing it? And the only person when we're finished today that is responsible for your success or failure is you. Sorry, that's the ugly truth. The tools are here. The systems are here. The strategies are here. Are you applying yourself? All right. We're now going to jump over to a brand new licensed agent. So if you're not a brand new licensed agent, you're a successful or an agent that's been in real estate for a little bit, but you probably don't have the momentum you'd like to have. That's cool. We're going to cover that right now. And I'm hoping that this will recharge you, because this is the beginning of February. By the end of February, with proper effort, you'll be generating business, working with buyers and sellers. You'll be knowing what you're doing, and you'll be able to turn it on, and you're going to be consistent in effort. What we're going to talk about right now is something called Hell Week. Now, Hell Week is where you really get pushed, and every agent that joins the GPS Global Partners should be put through this process. Hell Week is about opening doors, valuing properties, and writing contracts. Now, this I'm going to ask, and I appreciate the valor and the bravery, if you're comfortable enough saying it. The people that I can see are the people that are here. Who here is 100% confident in writing a contract? You could write one, you don't have to send it to anybody, and it's going to be great, and I can send it, and I'm going to put my buyer under contract. Who can do that? Awesome. Now, the ones that didn't raise your hand, you are you're the rock stars here. You're the ones who are brave enough to say, all right, I got some work to do. And I love that. Same thing with valuing a property. Who here can value a property? You don't have to raise your hands on this one. Who can value a property and tell me pretty specifically, these are the three homes, or at least two, an appraiser will use. We have no negotiation on this. They can't not use these properties because those are the most like, and they'd have to write an exception report. If you don't have that skill set, you should, because every buyer and every seller needs to know what is going to be the appraised value. Never, please, for the love of God, do not tell somebody this is what it's worth unless you plan on writing a check for it. That's my personal opinion. They do not get that answer from me. I can't tell you what it's worth because my marketing and how it's set up and the fact that it's a beautiful home is great, but I can tell you what homes an appraiser will use. And if you're not practicing that skill, if you haven't written at least 8 to 10 contracts that are practice contracts and somebody's reviewed them for you, and for the record, the very first one, you're going to be horrible at it. There's so much you're going to miss. But it doesn't matter because we aren't paying you, we're helping you. And it's okay to ask somebody, hey, can I send you a contract or 2 contracts a week? And can we set up a time where we're going to review those contracts and you tell me what I missed in there? There isn't anybody on this call for the most part that wouldn't say, I'd be glad to help you out with something like that. If you're going to value a property, do you have any idea how long it would take for anybody to figure out if your valuation's right? We need to say, okay, what's your search? How'd you do it? Why'd you determine these homes? Why'd you miss this one? And if you've got these good answers, you're going to start tweaking your ability. But if you don't practice it, you're going to be practicing on somebody who's going to pay you. Shame on you. So this first week, Hell Week, is all, I mean all, about Opening doors, value in properties, writing contracts. This is what I suggest to every single person. If you're brand new in real estate, or if you've been doing this and you haven't done this, go see 6 properties, take the valuation class, which is in GPS Global Partners under the links and classes. Value 2 of those properties and write contracts with the value in it on 2 of those, and send them to somebody who you can be accountable with, probably your sponsor or your mentor, and say, I want 30 minutes of your time, and I want you to review the contracts that I sent you and tell me what I missed. You'll be amazed how good you get inside of a couple of weeks. Unbelievable, the skill set change. The same thing with valuing your property. Say, listen, this is how I picked the property. These are the 3 I think it's going to be, and this is what I think is a value. And here's my idea of how I adjusted it. Please, God, for the love of God, don't talk in circles. Be pointful, be on point. I picked these 3 properties. I excluded this one. Explain why. If you can do that, and you do that at least 6 to 8 times, you will be amazed at your skill set. And if you don't do it, you will be caught, and they will know. And this is somebody who's going to pay you, where you're going to make some money. And because you have not practiced, you will not be proficient. And that, my friends, is a big crime. You must do the hard work. Nobody is going to hold your hand and say, here, I'm going to do it for you. That's not how this works. That's why it only costs $300 to get into real estate. The real barrier of entry, the cost of freedom to do what you want, is in the effort. But please understand, I'm not trying to beat you up. I'm trying to make sure that this point gets home. This is your career we're talking about, and I don't take this responsibility lightly. Please don't yourself. A lot of us, myself included, have a problem with managing ourselves. You put me to work with somebody else, they tell me, George, I want you to take bricks back and forth for 8 hours a day, put them in the wheelbarrow, run them. I'll do it all day long for $3.35. I did that when I was in college. You sit me down here, it's like all of a sudden I start looking at boats, I'm on Facebook. I suck at managing myself. I have to discipline myself. How are you doing? Have you done the hard work that's going to cause you to have the freedom you're actually looking for? During the second week, and this is so important, and for all of you that are running teams, because I know that 2 people on this call specifically are running teams, you want to ask them, what are your 2, and this is for everybody, what are the 2 different lead generations you are committed to for the year? Now, I'm asking every single person on this call. You can put it in there if you want to. I hope you know the answer, but the question stands. What are the 2 areas that you're going to focus on at least 3 hours a day, as well as WOB time, which is the worst acronym in the world, which is working on business? Some time for that too, because your business still isn't where it needs to be. How's your listing presentation? Is it the best? Probably not. Fix it. Spend some time. Commit to it. How's your buyer presentation? Awesome. The best there is? Awesome. Move to something else. If not, why don't we work on that too? But that does not come when you're lead generating. Now you think about this. Here's some numbers. If you lead generate where you're talking to 20 to 30 people a day that you haven't met, caveat, haven't met, you are going to close 20 transactions. That's almost a mathematical certainty. The challenge is, are you doing it? And let's be truthful. You doing it 5 days a week, or did you do it one day and not the other? Now we're back to discipline. There's your problem. You got to focus on your discipline. But I need to know, and you need to know, what are the 2 areas that you're going to commit to? And please, for the love of God, do not to commit to it and then all of a sudden go, oh, I changed my mind. I'm going to do social media. I'm going to post that I went to an open house. No. 20 to 30 people you got. This is your business. This is hard work. This is the barrier of entrance. Ask yourself, look in the mirror, have that conversation. Can I do it? I can do it. 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 Then just do it. Have that conversation with yourself. Can I? And if you say, yes, I can, then stick with it and do it. But you need to know what your schedule looks like. And that means you need to know what you're supposed to be doing. I guarantee you could go into YouTube right now and go, what do I need to do to be successful in open houses? First, do them. What do I need to do to database? Well, check Lyra's thing. We've covered all of it. There's classes on how to do all of these literally in the GPS Global Partners. What do I need to do to prospect? Get on a Ricky Carruth call. He'll tell you exactly what you need to do, but you need to do it. So you need to determine what those are. Now, I got to tell you, because y'all are going to, every one of you is going to run through this in your mind, and I totally get that. I don't know what to do. I get that. I would rather you fail forward on lead generation than on actual execution with a client. Meaning, You better know how to value a property and have high skill sets in this. Because you don't know how to talk and capture a lead doesn't mean that when you do capture a lead, which will happen, that you don't lose them because you don't have the skills. Go back to Hell Week, go back to viewing 3 or 6 properties a week, go back to writing 2 contracts, to go back to valuing these properties, go back to having somebody hold you accountable. And what I mean by that is 30 minutes a week of saying, you're doing good here, this needs to be tweaked. Not somebody holding your hand. Because if you need somebody to hold your hand, I'm going to save you the trouble, save you the money. Give me $50 for this advice, get out of real estate. If somebody must hold your hand, this is not the business for you. Now, that doesn't mean that somebody can't guide you, help you, mentor you, advise you. You can't be part of a team and have that. But you are going to have to be self-accountable to your success. It is nobody else's fault, nor is it anybody else's credit. People can support you in the process, but you're going to take the responsibility and take the credit for having it done, because there's nobody that will stand with you on every circumstance. I don't care who you're with or what team you're with or what brokerage you're with. It does not matter. Nobody's going to stand there and go, now say this. That was good. There's no Cyrano de Bergerac going on here. You're going to have the skills because you're going to be alone. And they're going to say, what do you think my home's worth? Let me look it up on Zillow. You're out. So this is the time I tell you about what it's like to fail forward in lead generation. I used to call for sale by owners. That was all I did. That was my entire business model, that and farming, quite honestly. And I did it 3 hours a day, and I closed 26 homes my first year. And I promise you, I sucked at it when I got started. And I practiced my skill. Now, I could value properties for sure. I was good at that. I learned how to do that in the first couple of weeks. I could write contracts because I didn't have a choice. That was required of me to do that. This is the guy. I'm not going to mention Mike Krontz's name, best coach there ever was. I won't mention his name. That'd be disrespectful. Mike Krontz. He's coach with KW. The guy's phenomenal. So he actually helped me buy my first home. He said, here's what you need to do. And he made me do it. I said, all right, no problem. I'll do that. This sounds good. Same thing that you guys, I'm talking to you guys about 6 contracts or writing 2 contracts a week, valuing 2 properties a week, learning how to do it. And then he spent 15 minutes critiquing me on that. And I got better and better and better. I never failed in that. I'm driving down the road, and I promised if I ever saw for sale by owner, because I was going to be the best there was, and that meant I would do whatever it took. I wasn't willing to sacrifice. Saw for sale by owner, crap. I made a commitment. I would always stop and knock on a door, period. Can you make that commitment? Not for sale by owners, but are you comfortable? Are you getting up at 5 to make sure you can be on the phone at 7:50? Are you committed to being really, really good and then becoming the best at what you're doing for your 2 lead generations? That's it, 2. Those are the only things you got to focus on. If you are, you're going to be great. So this for sale by owners down to cul-de-sac. I got my 4-year-old boy in the back of the car. I'm wearing khakis and a golf shirt. I said, oh, crap. I saw the sign. So I pull in there in the front yard. We end up talking for about an hour. Great. I say, hey, listen, why don't I come over and show you what I do to sell homes? They said, George, that'd be terrific. We're thinking of listing our property next week. I'd love to hear what you're doing. We really like you a lot. That's great. I show up the next day, tie, jacket, everything else. I walk in there. I don't have to tour their home. I've already seen it. I know them. We're friends at this point. All right. It's a lock. We're friends. I'm not kidding. I sat down at the table. About 10 or 15 minutes in, the wife gets up, gets me a glass of water and napkins because I am flop sweating. I am so unskilled at a listing presentation. It's obvious I suck at this. The husband leans over a minute or 2 later, taps me on the shoulder and goes, it's okay. You're doing great. It was a $7,000 commission plus or minus $6,000 or $7,000 that I did not get. Do you know why? Because I didn't practice my skills. I didn't do the hard work beforehand, and I lost money because I wasn't prepared. Are you prepared? I hope to God that the business comes so fast that you're not. But if the business is going to take a month, you bloody well better be prepared. Because right now is where the grass or the ground, the tires hit the road. You have to be prepared this minute. Am I sinking in? This is up to you. I haven't said it. I'm going to say it. I want to make sure you guys are clear. I am very passionate about your success. And because I can't hold your hand, all I can do is impart on you what is the truth and hope that it resonates. And if you're not successful, and this is going to be a bitter pill to take, it's because you failed yourself. It's not because they didn't put everything in front of you. It's in front of you. We do this every day. If you know what you're working on, if you know what you want to do, the roadmap for what works is already there. There are people that are doing it. We had a call a couple of weeks ago with a gentleman named Ibrahim Hussein, probably the most amazing person in the world. He ran the best team, runs the best team I've ever seen. Do you know what I'm doing? In April, I'm going up to wherever the hell he is in Canada and spending the day with him to see the team firsthand because I want to follow and copy, rip off and duplicate exactly what he's doing. I need that knowledge, so I'm going to get it. I won't let anything get in the way of me doing it. Because the market is changing, I'm talking to my wife and said, well, listen, frequent flyer miles, that's what's paying for it. We'll figure out a cheap place to stay. We like staying in expensive places, not in this market, but I want that knowledge. I'm going to get it. If you say I'm going to do this, are you going to get the knowledge too? Are you hungry enough to grab it? All right, we're going to move on. So that first week, hell week, really, it's your second week in real estate, but your first week of really doing things. You're going to go through opening doors, valuing properties, doing all this fun stuff, but there's another thing you're going to do as well. You're also going to have to be accountable with somebody. That means you have to ask somebody, hey, listen, can I send you these valuations? It's probably your sponsor or somebody you know. If not, it may be your mentor. And you say, listen, 30 minutes, I want 30 minutes a day with you, and I want to be, or a week with you, excuse me, and I want to send you contracts and have you review them, and I want to value properties. Because the truth of the matter is that's the nature of your business. And if you've got somebody that'll help you be accountable and move you forward, you're going to be in a great position. Covered that. Oh, I forgot. This is probably the most important. During that second week in real estate, and it's in here, it's in the GPS checklist, you have to determine what 2 areas you're going to lead generate. Now, the third week, you're going to still see 6 properties. You're still going to value 2 homes. You're still going to write 2 contracts because you need the practice. As a footnote, after I flop sweated my way through that first listing presentation, 4 days a week for the next year, my wife had to listen to me present to her in a listing presentation. I would never go through that humiliation again. More importantly, I would not be unprepared for a success opportunity. There's a chance you may have some areas that need your attention. That's the WOB time, working on your business, not your prospecting time. Week 3, you've determined what you're going to do. This is where you don't get a choice. Week 3, you're actually going to do a full day of lead generation, whatever that would be. If you're going to do an open house, you're going to do 1 open house. If you're going to be prospecting, you're going to do 1 day of 3 hours or 2 hours of phone calls. With the Mojo Dialer, with the systems, with whatever you have, and you bloody well better continue to improve it, because remember, we made a commitment earlier about being the best we can at this and not accepting mediocrity. Mediocrity will cost you freedom, will cost you security, will cost you everything that you joined real estate for. Here's the thing. Everybody I can see, is there anybody on this call, show of hands of people, would you like to have me as your personal coach 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, giving you, we're gonna do things that are gonna put you into production. Would you like to? Show of hands if you'd like to have me as your personal coach 6 hours a day, 5 days a week for the first month getting you into real estate. Everybody's like, hell no, George. All right. And a lot of people go, no. Ask yourself why. Is it because you're afraid you'd actually have to do the hard work? Because I promise you, if I'm standing behind you and kind of coach you, okay, that was great. Let's try this. Let's do this. I'm not going to coach you like this. I'm going to motivate you, build you forward, and build you up because I want your success to happen. But now think about this. If you did have me standing behind you, who here thinks they'd make well over $100,000 a year? For those that didn't raise your hand, you don't know me well enough. I guarantee you would. It doesn't matter what we do. Heck, it could be door knocking 3 hours a day from 4 until 7. We door knock 5 days a week. The other time we work on our listing presentation, we work on our buyer presentation. When we find somebody we could do, we get out there and we actually do it at an incredibly high level. You don't fail. You don't miss opportunities. You gave me a month and most of you are like, oh, heck no. Who'd like to have me as their personal coach for 3 hours a day? Do you think we get anything done? I do. Here's the thing. You've got to be that person for yourself. You got to hold yourself accountable because that's all I'm doing. I mean, yes, there's a lot of knowledge, but we have knowledge everywhere that we can get. I need you to grab it. Folks, I'm not trying to freak you out. I'm trying to give you a wake up. It's February 9th. We're effectively in the second quarter of this year already. We have to take action right now because this market is different than the one even 6 months ago. It's different than the one a year ago by far. It's not just luck anymore. This is a high skill market and you're going to be successful or not be successful based on your skill set and your commitment to doing the hard work, the stuff that most people won't. If you're willing to do it, you're going to succeed. Week 3 in real estate, your second week of actual production, you are going to do a listing present, or you are going to do some form of lead generation. You've already identified what it's going to be. You're going to continue to do the hard work, and you should be building a buyer presentation. In fact, if you decide to use the checklist, everything you need to build a buyer presentation is in the checklist. Isn't that cool? Literally, it's right there. Week 4, same thing. So you're going to build a listing presentation. And we set it up this way on purpose. Now, I love these questions because I get it all the time, and I want you guys to catch this because this is absolutely true. But I don't know what to say when I'm working with a buyer and I want to shadow somebody. Well, that's sometimes challenging to do. But what I will tell you is that if you happen to go to the very first day, very first week, right here, line 10, Emerging Agent Series in the GPS Global Partners, it looks just like this when you open it up. Now, this is a workshop that we did on lead generation options and selecting the right two for you. And there's additional, I know it's hard to see, it says workbook with additional links. And these links are live and they're yours right now. Series 2 is schedule, managing your time, kind of an important thing that everybody has to focus on. Working with buyers, the tools to work with buyers. And then working with buyers, how to. That's like role playing and what we do and what to say. And well, actually, you know what? Let's just show you because this will probably make it easier. This is working with buyers. Maybe. There it is. Absolute best property, the one that I know they're going to get. And you showed it to me. I'm a high I, high D. That hold on, folks. Personality type. I'm very outgoing and influential, and I make quick decisions. You show me that property, I'm like, this is it. This is the great property. So I don't know about y'all, but I can't see a darn thing. It's a blank screen. So sorry about that. I'm going to stop the sharing on that because, oh, no, look at that. Now it shows up. Hold on. Nope, doesn't work. So we're gonna get this one gone because that's not working. The Emerging Agent Series, though, there's a how-to and there's a lot of live role playing in there. Working with sellers, how-to, a live listing presentation. That's right, a live listing presentation. And if you want to know all the tools for it, it's right there in additional links under this G Drive, which you all have access to. Now it's under contract. What do we do? And then how about vendors? Is that completely inclusive? No, but it's enough to get you started where you're going to know how to work with buyers. You can go into YouTube. You can say, all right, what's the experience look like working with buyers? And take something that makes sense. Now that's working on your business. How is my buyer presentation? And here's the fun part. If you practice it while you're opening the 6 doors you have to open every week, you're going to get very good at how that works and literally have a conversation with yourself. By the way, I told us Chandra showed up for a walk a couple of days ago, which was really cool. We were talking about this. I want you guys to consider, don't do this on a property with people in there because it's disrespectful. Find a vacant property if you're going to be walking through 6 doors. But when you walk through, have the conversation. This is in there, by the way. The conversation goes like this. You figure out the house, fall in love with the house. I'm going to look at the mechanicals, make sure it doesn't fall around you. And let them walk around the property. Now, of course, there's nobody there. You're practicing, but why wouldn't you practice at that level? Do you have your binder or perhaps your clipboard? And are you walking in this home? You're just opening to get the practice. Are you actually practicing? Here's the question I like to ask. When you're practicing, when you're role playing, when you're doing your listing presentation to your wife 4 times a week because you've already stupidly flubbed a $7,000 commission, which, by the way, I really needed. And I didn't get it because I wasn't prepared, period. I could talk real well. But when it came to talking about what's going to happen and what's coming next and having some fluidity in my conversations, zip, I didn't practice it. That's you. Are you practicing like you play? Imagine getting a pro athlete salary. You guys are like, you're baseball, you're Babe Ruth. And the only time you practice is when you go to the plate in front of millions in a big game. You're out real quick. You don't have muscle memory. You don't have skill. You've got to build your skill. Every one of you. You're all going to have an opportunity to help a buyer, a seller, somebody in real estate. And that first one is a challenge. It is a burden. Oh my God, it is hard to do. Here's the thing. If you're not skill setted, you're going to lose it. Has anybody here, besides me, lost a presentation or lost a commission because at some point their skill set dropped off and they were discovered to not be very good at this? because I did. Lizette did. I promise you, folks, you're going to run into that. Your job is to fight that with every fiber of your body and be properly prepared. What does your schedule on your phone look like? Does your schedule represent working on your business and actually lead generating? Because lead generating is what brings money to you. Working on your business is what allows you to capture it. Your lead generation, which is critical, gives you an opportunity to have an at bat. And if you haven't practiced, you are going to strike out. That's pretty cool. I'm going to have to remember that baseball analysis. That worked out fairly well. All right. Everything you need is inside of you or at your fingertips. The GPS Jumpstart Checklist has if you have not gone through this, I challenge you to go through it line by line and finish everything. There's stuff in there you don't know. For all of you that are as old as I am, you want to know about the health insurance because it's phenomenal and it's yours. But you also want to know the series of what do I do when I'm working with a buyer? What are the tools? Do I have a great pre-listing package? It's in here. It's for you. And if you find something that you want, you're like, oh my God, I'd love to have that. Go to YouTube. It's a library of information and start ripping off and duplicating. But if you just take it and said, I got it, doesn't work. You're going to need to go to practice with it. I'll give you an example. This is my pre-listing package. It goes to all my listings. It doesn't matter if they're a friend of mine. Inside my pre-listing package, the very first page is a list of upgrades they've made on their home. As I go through my pre-listing package, we talk about all sorts of things, staging a home, preparing, getting ready. As we get further back into it, I actually have to look at it. Somewhere in here, it covers my marketing. When I go to list a property, I use a checklist format because that's my listing presentation as opposed to opening up my computer and doing this. Of course, I do comps. But I practice this so much and I've gone through it so much I can do it with my eyes closed. Are you there? Because you have to be. Here's the part that's important. There isn't one of you that doesn't have an opportunity for amazing success. And you can do anything you put your mind to. You can go forward and be very, very good at this. And I promise you, you're going to make mistakes just like everybody else before you. But if you don't take those as a slap in the face and you continue to say, I'm not satisfied, I'm going to get better, I'm going to get better. And if you put the effort in, you will have an opportunity within 3 years to buy an airplane. I'm dead serious. Now, I'm not talking a big airplane. I'm talking a little Cessna 172, but you can do that. All right. I'm a high school dropout. I have ADD. I am very, very challenged with attention. But through practice, I've gotten better at it. I can go an hour and a half on these calls and I don't get sidetracked a lot, but I do sometimes. Y'all laugh at me constantly. Like, there he goes. We lost him again. It's true. I have got nothing that you don't have. Chances are I've just practiced it more. And I hate losing. I hope you do too. What I want to do, and just raise your hands if you got any questions. I'm going to go through and actually, Tiffany, do me a favor. I'd like to have you go through and just jump in and throw out some questions. And I'm going to hit some things and I'm going to get some questions queued up for us that have been written down. If anybody has anything they want to talk about right now, just raise your hand. And before we get to the people with their hands raised and Tiffany jumping in, and I'm going to bounce Tiffany, so you'll be kind of my go-to on this one. Of course, I have to call my partner in crime. She lives in Poxaloxahatchee, I don't know, someplace way up north. Miss Claire, any thoughts or feedback on this, having the fact that you've run major offices for, I don't know, ever, and but of course she's younger than me and done such a great job with it. Is there anything that resonated here?
So everything that you said, I totally agree with, and I'm glad that you have our tools in a toolbox. There has been plenty of conversation in the chat and some simple tools. Here's the thing, especially in the beginning, it was difficult for myself to stay consistent. The best way that I could stay consistent is understanding the reason why that I chose to serve people with their real estate needs. Understand the way that I worded that. It wasn't about making a bunch of money. It was how could I be of service to others? Because the whole reason why that I got into real estate was the reason why that I succeeded in real estate. I was taken by a realtor. I did not want anybody else to experience that I went through. So I chose to make a difference. one family being served at a time. That's all I wanted to do, is not have anyone experience what I did. And that was my driving force for the first 5 years. I chose to ask my friends and family, could I please use you as a sounding board? I want you to interview me to list your home, because I knew in the beginning, back when I got in 16 plus years ago, listing agents last. And that was my goal. The buyers were going to come. Everybody can figure out a contract because MLS has so many classes and red lines and whatever. It was about building my skills and being the best serving listing agent I could. And I still continue that today, is how well I can serve all of our agents in their businesses. Same thing. So, George, what else do we need to be more consistent with? Reaching out to our own people and telling them how much we care about them.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of that. Thank you. As always, I knew that there would be something in here and that your input would actually make an impactful difference. And the truth is, she's much nicer than I am on the surface. But deep down, we're both the nice people. So question that came
I
up.
also posted a link, George, just to, razz you a little bit of, not only can we affect the lives of our own businesses, but I just posted a link in how I was able to pour into the life of my husband as well. He has a 182. And what he chooses to do with his 182 is save dogs and transport people all around the Southeast. He chose his hobby and turned it into a business.
Love it. The 182 is a better plane than the 172. We had a question. Pam asked me a question. So here's a quick answer. I need a step-by-step breakdown of how to write a guide, how to do a CMA, how to write a CMA, beginner's guide to running a comparative market analysis, how to do a comparative market analysis, how to do a comparative market analysis in real estate, comparative market analysis definitions and how to create one. Are we getting clues to you? There is nothing stopping your getting what you need except for you. And I'm not picking on you, Pam, by any means, but the answers you just asked for are right here. They're also in all sorts of training that we have with our brokerage available to you. Just go to the training calendar and look for it. There's a full-on class on how to do that. Actually, quite a few of them. I'm going to challenge that if you've got a question for something, and this was, Pam, it's a great question. It's one that we're like, I'm not really sure. Y'all have to start looking and saying nothing is going to get, remember, I can't get my MLS. Baloney, I need it. I'll be down there in a few minutes. Who do I speak to at the front desk? So this happens right now because I can't do my job without it. Pam, you same thing. I get it. I need to know how to do a CMA. Here you go. Right here, everything you need to know how to do that. And that's a start. And that should not be a finish line. When you start on something, you say, this is what okay, great. It's good, but it ain't great. Now I'm going to dig deeper. Lizette. Yes, ma'am. You have your hand up. And then Tiffany, I'm going to you with some questions.
I just wanted to, like you said, I think, we just being relentless, you know what I mean? Just being relentless, just to the point where like you said, nothing's going to get in my way. Like as soon as I hear even myself, any negative comment, I'm in a mode right now. And I'm sharing this with people because I hear a lot of agents, oh, this, and like, listen, everybody that's gotten there. I was having a conversation with Veronica Figueroa. If you sit next to her, by the way, this lady there is no obstacle. She will go relentlessly to any means or way to get what she wants. I'll tell you that. And George knows this. I think George coached her too for a while, right?
Yep.
And it's important to know that where George is at and any agent out there, at one point they became relentless. There is no excuse in the book to get where you want to get. 5 kids, no kids, whatever, be relentless.
Thanks, Lizette. I appreciate it. That's actually true. Tiffany, what do we got for some questions we should jump on? Raise your hand if you want to talk afterwards too.
Unanswered was, where can they find the links?
In the checklist. Everything's in there. Everything's in there, right, Tiff? We built it. I mean, for
Yes.
what? Jesus, 3 years now. 5 years that that thing's been going around. You should see the first copies. It was pretty embarrassing. Yeah, it's
so
pretty bad. And there's little things in every one of these. There's little, well, here, I'll just show you. So, if you're in this checklist and you're like, oh, well, it's, and this happens, it doesn't make anybody, this is the norm. Hold on.
Hey, George.
Yeah.
Captain Tom says hello, by the way.
What's up, Skipper? Good to hear you. All right. So attend the valuation class. If I clicked on this link, oh my God, what happens? Holy cow. It's a full-on video that it tells me exactly how to find it, where it is, and what to do. That's the part that makes it fun, because now we can basically do anything we need to do. Every question you have is answered. If you don't know how to use a super key, and I had something this here, right here, how to use a super key. That's a short tutorial. And the reason I did is somebody actually told me, Tiffany and I, remember this, Tiffany? This was like 3 years ago. So he goes, well, I really couldn't do anything because I didn't know how to use the super key. Well, hold on. With great respect, I put that in there because I don't ever want to hear an excuse for not doing the job is that you didn't know how to use a key that everybody can teach you. So now let's go back to the real excuse. Sorry, this is harsh. This is harsh. It's consider this tough love. I swear to God it is. The real excuse is you weren't committed. You weren't willing to do whatever it took. And if you are, the world is your oyster. So look in the mirror and say, am I committed? At the risk of being very, very transparent. If you're not, check this. This is an expensive hobby or a very financially benefit career. One of them is done a little bit. The other one is full on, game on, 100% commitment. Nothing will stop me from doing this. It's waking up saying it's going to be a hard day, but I'm going to do the work. And you're going to have to do this for a couple of years. Now, don't misunderstand me. That first year should produce a lot of financial benefit. The second year, even more. And the third year, even more and less time committed to it. But make no misunderstanding, until you start with great momentum, it's hard, really hard. And it's going to be a grind. And that's the real cost of being a real estate professional. And the freedom comes with it is after you pay that. Y'all think about this. I want to lose 30 pounds. That's future George. He weighs 197.5. Yeah, I got a specific weight. I know exactly what I'm looking for. And I know what the steps are for it. I know what I have to do. I know if I'm on track or if I'm behind track. But here's the part. When I get to 197.5 pounds, you know, the cool thing is my knees don't hurt. My body's better. I can run further. I've got more energy. I look better. My wife is going to be more attracted to me. There's a lot of things that go on there. Everything about my clothes fit better. I look better on camera because this is just embarrassing. I'm pretty sure at 197.5 pounds, I grow my hair back. That's my world. That's what I'm thinking. But the funny part is I don't get any of those benefits fully until I get there, which means I have to put the work in first. Everybody here has to put in the work before the results will come. It doesn't go the other way. It never does. Lizette, you got your hand up. I'm going to turn it back to you, my friend.
Oh yeah. All right. The other thing is like, we're in February. I've been married 23 years. I think it's 20 years. And I go back and I listen to my single friends. Thank you. And I just know, and I look at it like this in real estate. If I was talking to somebody, I say, listen, when you like somebody and you're on a conquest, right? This person just revolves in your head 24 hours a day. Like you're obsessed with them, right? Like you love them. You want to impress them. This is how it should be right now with your buyers. If you don't have anything on your pipeline, you got to go on a conquest. It's a love conquest. You got to like be in it. Like, how do I get next to them? How do I get in front of a buyer? How do I get in front of a seller? It's like a mission, right? You're on a mission to find ways to get in front of them and then tell them why you're the right person to help them, right? It's the same thing, right? When we like somebody, think about it. We go on a never-ending conquest. It's like it won't stop until you get what you want. And this is how we should be treating our real estate business.
Yeah. All right. Any ahas? By the way, the more you engage in these, the more you say, I'm going to raise my hand. I want to say something. What you're thinking, what you're feeling, good, bad, and ugly, is what everybody else is experiencing too, or other people on the call are. And I promise you, the more you engage, the more you will receive in return from these calls. Yes, ma'am.
George, Caitlin put a very important question. She asked, where do we get the checklist? The checklists are sent to us from Tiffany as part of our onboarding into EXP and part of the GPS group. Did I answer that correctly?
Absolutely. Caitlin, if you're on the call, Caitlin, jump on, unmute yourself. I want to ask you a question, particularly who's your sponsor? And then we can kind of figure out how we can get this squared away.
My sponsor is Matt Levine and I'm under Paul Saperstein.
Okay. So do me a favor.
And reach out to Daniel.
No, just reach out to Tiffany and
Okay.
she'll get you into it's in the GPS Global Partners. Do you know where that is?
In Workplace or in Facebook?
It's not. It's in neither of those. And unfortunately, there's a little bit of a disconnect. So let me show you. It's gpsglobalpartners.com, gpsglobalpartners.com.
Okay.
All right. And I'm going to share this for everybody. And hold on one second. So this is what it'll pull up. If you go to gpsglobalpartners.com, there's a lot of it. Sorry. Can you all see this? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So about the GPS group benefits, it's actually being redone. Shameless plug for my friend Iman, who's redoing the website. Under the More tab, there is the Jumpstart new for EXP agents. Now that has a password protection, and that's something that I can share with you, or Tiffany can share with you. It is exclusively, because it is very proprietary. It is for our GPS partners. Anybody that's not with GPS but wants more information on this, just reach out to me directly and let's talk about it. But I don't put that out publicly. You have it, it's yours, and I want you to have it, Caitlin. Message Tiffany, she'll get you the password. And you can do that through Workplace Chat. She can get it over to you right away.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right. Anybody else have anything to add? It is 9:26. You guys have listened to me drone on for 50 minutes. Again, this isn't a beat up session. This isn't about what you're doing wrong. It is about what you should be doing. It's about perhaps starting over, doing a reboot if you're not at the place you really should be. And it's about putting in the hard work. This is going to be the year and a half that separates the top from the bottom. And there'll be a lot of people that really struggle with this. They said, I don't got it. I can't do it. It's too much. I'm not comfortable with it. And that's okay. And that's fine. And remember, you're able to stumble. It's okay to not know, but let's stop thinking limitations. It's not brought to me, and say, how do I get it? I love that. Where do I find a CMA? That's a really good question, and it's relevant because it's not just that, but it's every other thing that we're looking for. So I'm truly grateful that was brought up. Start with Google, start with Workplace, start with the people around you. Remember, the people around you won't hold your hand. You're going to have to self-discover, because real estate is, as much as I hate to say it, your support is everywhere, but the real hard work is that you're the one doing it. You can't say, well, nobody told me. I was talking to an agent, not one of our business partners, and they're like, I just want somebody that stays with me the entire day and just shows me everything. I said, well, then hire a coach. So I don't have any money for that. I've only been in real estate. I've been in real estate a year. How many homes have you sold? I haven't sold any because nobody will show me what to do. I said, well, how are you lead generating? So, well, I'm using social media, and I did an open house one time. I'm like, holy cow. You want somebody to stand with you and literally show you what to do. And my advice to that person was, you should really consider going to get a job where somebody tells you what to do all the time and you just do it. This is not your career. It's not working. So y'all think about this, and I don't mean this negatively. You're going to have to today make a decision. What side are you on? Are you willing to do whatever it takes? And this is not an option. I'm going to succeed. Are you willing to land on the shores and burn your boat? I got no other choice. This is going to work, and I'll do whatever it takes. Or are you thinking, I'm trying, we'll see. If you're trying, and we'll see. Here's my advice. Get out, save the money. Seriously, go to a 100% brokerage, because it's not like you're learning anything, and hang your license as cheap as you possibly can, because you don't need anything around you, because you're not going to do anything. That's not harsh. That's true. This is about you moving forward. And if you're not going to move forward, put the money back in your pocket. Don't waste your time and energy and get out of this industry because it will chew you up. These next year and a half are going to prove to be successful for the people that put the work in. They're going to take over market share and they are going to gain something that will survive them for 10 to 15 years of having the most amazing life possible. But now is when you pay for it. Am I crystal clear? I've done this for 2 decades. I've gone through a couple of these cycles. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I've watched it. I sat in offices and with my past brokerage, and we fired the staff because there was nobody selling anything. And all this is a great story. This is actually true. If you're for people that are in franchises that are like with the different franchise companies that are out there, here's what's about to happen. The people at the front desk are about to be let go. The productivity coaches are about to be let go because they don't have the money to pay for them because we're not selling as much. Only a few will. Are you them? So either rise to the top and work your fanny off or save yourself a bunch of money and get a job that is what we call a real job where somebody controls you and pays you and they tell you what to do. Here's the ugly secret that you don't believe yet. I fucking know you can do this. You don't. Get it through your head. You can. You can do anything you put your mind to. Don't let anything limit you. You can be amazing. Pardon my language, but I wanted to make sure you heard me. Don't quit on yourself. Trust in you. You can do amazing. Shelby, very sorry about that. Hopefully we covered her ears. Didn't realize we had an infant on call. All right. Oops, my bad. Seriously though. Don't give up. Not now. Not now. This is where you double down. There's a story of 200 people that landed on shore. This is in, I don't know, years and years, like hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And they were fighting a tribe of 1,000. And the captain of the 3 boats said, burn the boats. So they burned the boats. Everybody's like, why do we burn the boats? That's how we get away. So you don't get it. You don't get to get away. You get to win or die. Now that's commitment. I'm not asking you to burn the house down. Please don't misunderstand me. But that kind of commitment is going to give you the greatest probability. I'll tell you this just for everybody to know. Besides our database, which is something that's where all of our business comes from. And besides, of course, my focus on this, because I truly love the opportunity to do this and that you guys have blessed me with the opportunity to do so. My wife and I are aggressively with lots of work and effort going into the YouTube realm because it's something that's very appealing to me. It's not going to fail, period. Does it freak me out? Oh God, yeah, absolutely. Do I know what I'm doing? Not a clue. Do I study it every day? You damn Skippy, I do. In a year from now, get back to it. Just say, okay, so how'd it go? Because a year from now is really when the accountability. I should start to receive the benefits from that in a year. And until then, I ain't 197.5 pounds because I won't receive it till I put the work in, and I'm putting the work in right now. And you can't see it, and it doesn't show up. And it's not like I got, a gazillion followers on there, or it's doing what I expect it will be doing. But I'm putting the work in right now. Are you? Is there no other choice? And if there isn't, welcome to the club. You're going to love this industry. Now it's 9:30. It is my sincere hope, unless anybody has anything else. If you do, raise your hand or just speak up. It is my sincere hope that you are now getting ready to prospect or, prospect, do something to generate some business. I'm going to leave it to y'all. I'm going to go through and see what we have in the notes, just in case there's something to miss. And I reserve the right to come back in just a second. In the meantime, though, Tiffany, let's go to after party.